Okay, we're live, Judy.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this meeting of the Governance Subcommittee. We have two agenda items today. The first will be consideration of the attributes and skills for the chair and the vice chair. And thank you all who attended at the last meeting. We had a good discussion. Christina, JT, and I attempted to synthesize it into the highest rated skills and attributes, and James will give us a presentation on that. And we will actually take a vote after we discuss it because we want to present it at the board meeting on Monday. And the second item is going to be a contract that will be presented by Pune Simpson, but we need a quorum to ratify the contract. And so we have a couple members that are joining late. So once we have a quorum, then we'll be able to consider the contract. So Maria, would you like to call roll?
Sure. Kim Barrett.
Present.
Dan Bernal. George Blumenthal. Linda Boxer. Elena Flowers. Judy Gasson.
Here.
Steve Julesgaard.
Here.
Linda Malkus.
Here.
Adriana Padilla. Jonathan Thomas.
Here.
Art Torres.
Here.
Christina Bori.
Here.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Maria. And thanks again to James for his great job putting together the results of our discussion in the previous meeting. So James, I believe you have a PowerPoint to share with the group. Thank you.
To start by reminding everyone about the statutory duties of the chair.
James, it's, at least for me, a little difficult to hear you.
It's hard to hear you, James.
I don't think your headset's working, James.
I can swap it out. All right, is that better?
Much better.
Oh,
Thank you.
good. Great. All right. So as I said, we wanted to begin by reminding everyone about the statutory duties assigned to the chair and the vice chair. So Marianne, if you could please move to the next slide. So the chair has a number of express statutory duties under the law. They include the obvious, such as managing the board's agenda, as well as things that might be a little bit less obvious, such as supervising CIRM's annual report and public accountability requirements. So the public accountability requirements refer to things like the Public Records Act, the open meeting laws, and conflict of interest laws. The chair is also responsible for managing and optimizing CIRM's bond financing program and cash flow plans, interfacing with the legislature, Congress, and the public, and optimizing financial leverage opportunities. So this could include, for example, generating matching funds through collaborations or partnerships or a memorandum of understanding as CIRM has done historically. And then finally, among the statutory duties of the chair is leading negotiations for intellectual property agreements. This one is a bit anomalous because as a practical matter, CIRM has adopted intellectual property regulations that govern awardees and royalty and licensing revenues owed to the states as a result of their awards. Next slide, please. So the chair also serves as a member of all of the working groups. With respect to the grants working group, the chair is ex officio, meaning the chair does not vote, but the chair is a voting member of the other three working groups, and also serves on the state level finance committee, which is responsible for authorizing the sale of bonds and debt. Next slide, please. The statutory duties of the vice chair are primarily to support the chair in carrying out the chair's duties. The vice chair is also responsible for nominating members of the AAWG to the board, and the vice chair serves as a member of the AAWG. Obviously, our current vice chair has also undertaken responsibility as the chair of the AAWG and for government relations, but those duties are not statutorily assigned to the AAWG. The board made the decision to allocate those duties to our current vice chair because of his skill set. Next slide, please. And Judy, I'm happy to walk the group through the recommendations unless you would prefer to do so.
Oh, please, by all means, you're doing great. Thanks.
Thanks. So after reviewing the results of the survey and the meeting of this group a couple months ago, Judy, Christina, and JT synthesized the recommendations of the group with respect to the chair in terms of both the role, percent effort, and desired attributes, which were really the three areas of exploration. With respect to the role, the recommendation is that we continue to use the partnership model to follow the statutory, to perform the statutory duties of the chair, vice chair, and president through clearly delineated roles and responsibilities for each. This is the model that is currently in effect and has been working very smoothly. Given the scope of the chair's duties, including the chair's service on each of the Institute's working groups, the recommendation is for an 80% time commitment. In terms of the desired attributes, again, these are in addition to the statutory requirements for serving as chair. The subcommittee seemed to feel that the following attributes were the most significant. So they include integrity, passion, enthusiasm for CIRM's mission, leadership and decisiveness, being an effective communicator, being collaborative and inclusive, showing respect for leadership and staff, and obviously intellect and experience. Next slide, please. With respect to the vice chair, in terms of the same three functions, based on both the survey results and the work of this subcommittee, the recommendation is as follows: 50 to 80% time commitment for the vice chair, depending upon the duties that are assigned to the vice chair. In addition to supporting the chair and carrying out the chair's statutory duties, the subcommittee recommended that the vice chair assume responsibility for serving as the chair of the AAWG if the vice chair has relevant experience. Similarly, the recommendation is that the vice chair would assume responsibility for oversight of government relations, or if the vice chair has relevant expertise, assume primary responsibility for undertaking the government relation efforts on behalf of the agency. And then finally, with respect to the desired attributes, in addition to the mandatory requirements, you'll see the skills are quite similar: integrity, passion, and enthusiasm for the mission, being collaborative and inclusive, respect for leadership and staff, and strong and effective patient advocacy experience. Next slide, please. There are some additional items that I thought would warrant discussion. There was a general consensus among the subcommittee that the current allocation of functions is working well, and that as a result, there's not a mandate for change. There's also broad agreement that the future sustainability of CIRM, including beyond the funds authorized by Prop 14, is a high priority for the chair, the vice chair, and the president to focus on. And finally, the chair and vice chair, along with board members, should continue to lead a robust oversight role for the agency. Next slide, please. And that takes us to any questions. So Judy, I'll turn it back to you.
Are there any questions about this presentation or anything that James has covered in terms of the statutory responsibilities? Okay, I don't see any questions. Are there comments from the members of the subcommittee? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands raised. So not seeing any hands raised, I would like to ask for a motion to approve these recommendations for presentation to the board on Monday. Oh, Maria?
Judy, we still do not have a quorum. So for right now, it would be a sense of the committee.
Yes. Yes. Right. Okay, so it would just be a sense of the committee as stated by Maria. So if I could request a motion, please.
I
So
move
moved
that
as a
we,
sense of the committee.
Art and Kim, is that right?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, thank you very much for making that motion. Are there any comments from the members of the committee?
Job.
Thank you. We'll take it. Maria, is there anyone from the public? No, there's nobody from the public.
There's
Okay.
not. There's no.
Okay. In that case, Maria, would you please call the roll to get the sense of the committee?
Kim Barrett,
Aye.
Dan Bernal, George Blumenthal, Linda Boxer, Elena Flowers, Judy Gasson,
Yes.
Steve Julesgaard,
Agree.
Linda Malkus,
Agree.
Adriana Padilla, Jonathan Thomas,
Yes.
Art Torres,
Agree.
Christina Vori.
Agree.
Thank you.
Okay, it's interesting that these recommendations ended up very similar to the last time that the board survey was done. And so again, I think it reflects, as James said, people feel that things are generally going well and that we don't have a mandate to change anything. Okay, so we have a little bit of an issue here because we need a quorum to approve the contract.
Correct.
Maria, are we there, Maria?
We aren't. If we could take just a quick 5 minutes and let's see if we can get Adriana or George on the phone earlier than they had planned on attending. So if you
Okay, that
give us a
sounds
couple
great.
minutes, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maria.
While we're waiting, I might ask, how is this committee, the governance committee, in a position to approve a contract?
I believe it's part of our charge, Steve. But maybe JT or Maria can, or Kevin.
I
maybe.
think that's a Kevin question, I think.
Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, Judy's correct. It's part of the charge of this committee. It's one of the contract approval steps for the organization. So beyond a particular dollar threshold, it moves to the governance subcommittee to approve the contract, and beyond that, it then moves to the full board, depending on the value. This contract will, as Pune will describe, will be for an extension of our IT services. And the dollar amount threshold falls within the scope of authority for the governance subcommittee.
The
Thank you.
threshold is 250 to 500,000 for governance, and then above 500,000 for ICOC.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Maria.
Yes, no problem. Marianne is calling George, and I think Doug is calling Adriana. So
Perfect.
those two.
Terrific. And thanks again to James for putting together such a nice presentation of the commitment, the skills, abilities, attributes, and so on. I don't see your cat, JT.
I threw the cat, I locked the cat in the bathroom.
I know you did. I know you didn't say that.
It's actually the bedroom and the bathroom, to be precise.
Sounds like something I do. So I know Maria is out scouting for other participants. We have a board meeting next Monday, right?
Yes, we do.
So if we can't get people on the line to approve this, we could tie this over and just take it up with the board on Monday, right?
We did not notice it 10 days in advance. And I don't know that this qualifies for an emergency edition, but I can check with James and Kevin after this meeting.
Okay.
Maria, do we need
Well, wait
just,
a minute. So if we approve this today as a consensus, we can't take that to the board on Monday as the consensus of the committee, and then the board adopts it finally?
It's not listed on the agenda or for Monday at all, because this is the final body of approval for this specific
Oh,
contract.
I'm sorry. So, right, the subcommittee is the final decider.
Exactly, for this one. And
like George
Marianne
was.
and Doug were not able to get a hold of Adriana or George. And we went so quickly, I'm sure they didn't think we'd be done by 11:20. So I suspect that's part of what's going on.
Well, is
This
there
is
a
a-
process that we have by leaving the roll open till they come in and just register their votes? I know in the legislature, we always had the opportunity to place a call on the vote roll call until other members could appear and then register their votes. Do we have the same process here, James?
Really quickly, I believe Pune is okay. We can hold off 1 month on this. So I think we're fine to bring it to the July, because we also have a July Governance Subcommittee meeting. So it's okay to bring it to the July Governance Subcommittee meeting.
What time were those other members planning on joining, Maria?
They were going to join at 11:30, so that's another 10 minutes. So we can add this to the July Governance Subcommittee agenda, because we'll be meeting again then.
As long as
Or
that's
wait
not
9
going to,
minutes?
Maria, do we need both or just one of the two?
We just need one.
I recommend we just wait.
I'm fine with waiting
Great.
till 11:30 and then we can complete this item.
Okay,
We'll still get time back because this was scheduled for 2 hours.
I know.
But this is such an efficient committee.
All right, then
Thank
why
you,
don't
co-chairs.
we will then wait the 9 minutes and hopefully they will arrive.
Okay.
I'm going to get a cup of tea if that's okay.
Permission granted, Linda.
Thank you very much.
Linda, is that a cat or a dog behind you? It's fleeting there.
That's a cat. That's little Bobby.
Yeah.
I
She has
got a
beautiful
tea.
horse too.
I got a tea in the
Oh,
last break.
I'm going to go. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Judy, I'm going to go off here for 1 second. I'll be right back also.
No problem. Standing by.
I wish Dianne Feinstein a happy 89th today.
What?
I said, I just wish Dianne Feinstein a happy 89th today.
Oh, it's her birthday. Oh, lovely.
Yeah. in DC.
Okay, I got a hold of George. He should be calling in any moment now.
Yay.
Good work, Mary Ann.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
You're welcome. George, is that you? I see George's number on.
Hi, it's me, George.
Thank you, George.
Is everyone else back?
Linda's not back.
Okay. Steve?
Ask him.
Oh, there you are. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
JT was gone as well. Is he back?
He's
He's
back.
back. So we got Linda, Christina.
We do have a quorum.
If we have a quorum, I will move to adopt the consensus of the committee that we passed earlier.
Second.
Just as a point of clarification, it may be helpful for the record to actually repeat what, and for George's perspective, so we have an informed vote, to actually repeat what that consensus was.
Okay, please do so, James. Thanks.
Kevin might be able to, but James is no longer on the line.
Oh.
I'm happy to, but would not want to steal the stage from Judy if she is more comfortable making the recommendation, since I didn't participate in the preparation of the presentation.
Please go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. So the motion on the floor is to adopt the recommendation that was contained in the presentation that was earlier presented by James Harrison with respect to the scope and duties and attributes of both the chair and the vice chair position. And I'll ask Senator Torres if that accurately describes his belief of the motion he was proposing.
Yes, so moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion from members of the committee? Is there any discussion from members of the public, Maria?
See no hands raised.
Okay, so then we're going to vote again so that we would have a quorum on this.
Great. Kim Barrett,
Aye.
Dan Bernal, George Blumenthal,
Yes.
Linda Boxer, Elena Flowers, Judy Gasson,
Yes,
Steve Julesgaard,
Yes.
Linda Malkus,
Yes.
Adriana Padilla, Jonathan Thomas,
Yes.
Art Torres,
Aye.
Christina Vori.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries.
terrific. And I'd now like to turn the meeting over to Pune to describe the contract that we're going to consider today.
Good morning, Chair and members. I have a very short presentation today. I will be requesting your approval for the contract for Cobaltics in the amount of $405,000. This contract covers the existing 24/7 help desk support that we've had from them before, but it expands the on-site availability of staff to 5 days a week and provides some back-end architecture and system management support, and will be helping us with the transition into our new office with some consultation. So I'm asking that you approve the contract since it is over the $250,000 threshold, which requires your approval.
So moved.
Second.
I second that. Yeah.
Any discussion from members of the committee or questions for Pune? Seeing none, any questions from members of, oh, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, so what occasioned this new contract? What happened that said we needed to do this?
So as you probably already know, we do not have help desk support staff among the CERM permanent staff. So we contract for help desk support. And the need for on-site has increased for two reasons. Once we're moving into a new office, which requires some setup of the server room and infrastructure. And second is new staff coming on board, onboarding them, and some of the new technology we're using that requires in-person support and training. So that part has to do with kind of the increased need for services. We're also increasing some of our network security functions and improving some of the architecture in the back end, which we need their consultation on.
So this is a one-time expense and we wouldn't see it again.
In terms of the on-site 5 days a week support, we may request to continue at that level after we are in the office again and evaluate the need. But some of the other stuff like the moving into a new office and that one-time setup would not be ongoing.
All right, thank you.
Are there any questions from the members of the public, Maria?
I do not see any hands raised.
Thank you very much. It's my understanding that since this is below $500,000, the vote of this committee will be the final disposition of this matter. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, then, in that case, let's call the roll.
Kim Barrett,
Aye.
Dan Bernal, George Blumenthal,
Yes.
Linda Boxer, Elena Flowers, Judy Gasson,
Yes.
Steve Julesgaard,
Yes.
Linda Malkus,
Yes.
Adriana Padilla, Jonathan Thomas,
Yes.
Art Torres,
Aye.
Christina Vori.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries.
All right, very good. Thank you all for attending today. Are there any other matters that people would like to raise at this time? Seeing no hands, I think we can adjourn the meeting and thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.